Hi everyone, and welcome to day 2 of NaNoJouMo with Dawn Sokols. I am using some Mod Podge to glue down some scraps of paper. These were left over from my file folder fodder project for week 8, I believe it was the architecture week. These are just the scraps of paper. They were on my desk, and I have gotten into the habit of gluing down pieces of paper on my journal pages and on my projects, and it just kind of, since I've done it this way so often now, it just, as soon as I start gluing down pieces of paper, it just helps get my mind into thinking that, okay, it's time to get creative. And a lot of times I just glue stuff down even if I know it's going to be completely covered up. It's soothing for me, and it helps relax my mind and get my creative juices flowing a bit better. This is the top layer of a napkin, and I chose this napkin and the colors that I'm going to use because the prompt for today was a photo of some of Dawn's art. And I was inspired by the colors that she used, and all of those colors are in this napkin. And so I just glued it down, and I'm going, after it dried, I tore off the edges. I like nice, ragged, rough looking edges on my projects, so I just tore off the excess napkin. And now I'm going to place down just a thin layer of gesso, and this will just kind of tone down the bright colors in the napkin some and just help push the napkin back. I'm going to use a stencil over the top of the wet gesso and wipe off the paint with a wet baby wipe. And after that's dry, I decided to start using the colors that were in Dawn's piece of art, and starting with a couple of shades of blue. This is just a couple of different brands of craft paint. And I'm just using a hotel key card to scrape the paint around onto my page. And I'm going to dry that because I'm going to put orange on next, and orange and blue will most definitely make brown. And these are Dilutions paints. And I'm just going to rub those around onto my page with my fingers. And once again, I'm using a baby wipe and a stencil and removing the paint through the stencil. And after that's dry, I'm going to apply the next color, which will be the lime green. And this is just building up layer and layer and layer of color. Sometimes it gets totally covered up, and sometimes it doesn't. It's just the way that I like to work. I just keep adding layers, and sometimes they peek through and other times they don't. Now this is a piece of paper towel. It was left over from the autumn leaf ATCs that I made, and I had dripped the FW Artist Acrylic ink onto the paper towel when I was doing that project, and I saved it. And I'm just cutting out some circles of the paper towel. I did tear the paper towel into the two layers, the two separate layers, so it wasn't so thick. And I'm going to glue those down on the page with the Mod Podge. I thought I knew this would just add some texture from the paper towels, and when I first placed these down, I visioned still being able to see the colors that are on the paper towels. And after drying that really well, I am next going to add some Liquitex Basics acrylic acrylic paint, and I'm just going to rub that around with my finger. I was feeling that this was really needing something, but I wasn't quite sure where to go with this. So I took my Stabilo All pencil and drew around the paper towel circles, and then went around that with my water brush. And this, of course, helped define the paper towel circles, but I still really was not happy with how this page was going along. So I grabbed my FW acrylic artist inks and decided to drip some ink down the top and the bottom of my page. And I'm just squirting it with some water and letting it run down the page. And I like to move my journal around, or whatever I'm working on, after I've added these inks, and let the heat gun just kind of help move the paint around. And now I'm going to use fuchsia FW acrylic ink and do the same thing on the bottom. But I'm letting the heat gun move the paint around, and it helps it dry, but it also just, you get some neat effects by moving the paint with the gun. I still wasn't happy and thought, well, I'm just gonna go around these circles, and I did not like that at all. So by now I was very close to covering this whole page up with gesso. So I decided that I wasn't going to give up yet. I was frustrated with a whole lot of other things that were going on, and when I get frustrated like that, that's when I grab the paint and I just start rubbing stuff down with my fingers. And so that's what I decided to do. I grabbed the colors that I had already used and just started rubbing color all over the page. And I'm already getting a little bit more happy with it. It's frustrating because my lighting is so bad. The colors are off for me while I'm working. So sometimes when I'm working at night, it's hard for me to really see how my project looks because the colors are so off, even with just being in my room working. So I almost stopped. I decided, well, I'm gonna rub off this paint through this circle stencil because I love this circle stencil, and I'm already a whole lot happier with how my page is starting to look. So I decided it was time to pull those paper towel circles out again, and I am using a white Chalkola marker. It is a chalk marker, and it is made for non-porous surfaces, but I love using them in my art journal, and I like spraying them with water and it bleeds. I like how it bleeds, and since there's paper towel on here, I knew that the chalk marker would bleed into the texture of the paper towel. So I just squirted it with water and rubbed it around a bit just to kind of help it move with my finger, and tilting my journal up and down to help the chalk marker move around and just create some nice texture with that. And this is something that I clipped from a magazine. Actually, I think one of the pages when I was working on the fashion file folder fodder, I had clipped this out from one of the magazine pages and had this sitting on my desk. And I thought this was perfect for today's photo prompt because Dawn's photo to me represented definitely endless possibilities. It has clouds and a flower in the sky, and I thought it would work perfect for this page. And I'm just going around it with my Stabilo All pencil. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it so much, and hopefully I'll get my lighting fixed because I really want to produce much better quality videos for you all, especially to share these NaNoJouMo videos. And I'm just going to go around the edges with my black ink pad, it just brings out the edges, and I'm wiping across the top just a little bit to bring that texture out. And adding the date, and thanks so much everybody. Bye-bye.